Well, hello, honey, and welcome to RV Kitchen, where all my recipes are cheap, easy, and delicious. So this weekend, I'm house sitting for my aunt and uncle, and I wanted to show y'all a different perspective of the waterfall that we have in the back. Now, this is no Niagara Falls by all means, but you can kind of see through the woods there, especially there, where the water starts. It comes up actually out of a cave and a spring, and it just trickles down, and it runs right behind my backyard. And somewhere in the distance, you can see part of my home. I'm not sure. I'm pretty well camouflaged there. It's too pretty to be inside. Let's see if the hubby will come out. He's wondering when dinner's going to get going. I'm actually fixing to take him on a little tour of the house. I wanted to show him some of my artwork here. They truly have a beautiful home, but there's one of the pieces there. I think I did that one back in 2006, and this one was maybe around 2005, and then that one was maybe in 2010. This one was an experiment between clear glitter and acrylic paint. I wanted the cherry blossoms to have an early frost look, so it turned out pretty good. I had fun with it. It's been a long time since I've painted. But honey, I don't know about you, I have worked up an appetite. So for tonight's dinner, we're going to be making 2 batches of beef enchiladas, one for my aunt and uncle who will be home soon, and then one for me and the hubby to take home. So I've got a pound of ground beef and a pound of turkey that's ground up that I'm just browning along with 1 jalapeno, to start letting that flavor seep on in. And then I've got 2 of these seasoning packets. I've never tried this brand before, but we're going to give it a shot. So after we get a good color on that meat, we're going to just sprinkle those 2 packets on in. And honey, they smelled wonderful. Now, with that heat back down to a medium, we're going to add in about a tablespoon of garlic. Use 3 cloves or more if you use fresh. Give it a good stir, and then we're going to dump in 1 bag of seasoning blend. That's just the frozen mix. It's got the onion, bell pepper, and celery with a little bit of parsley. I love it because, honey, it really is an easy item to add in any dish. And then because we like a little spice in our life, we're going to add in some chili flakes and then some garlic and onion powder seasoning because, honey, that's the kitchen staple there. We're going to give that good old mix and let that just marry on up to one another. Let all those vegetables become translucent. And then, honey, this would be perfect on anything from nachos to enchiladas, the tacos, whatever you got. Shoot, just pass me a chip and we'll be good to go. Now, to keep in some moisture for these enchiladas, we're going to add in about a 1/4 cup of picante sauce. You can use Rotel, but if you don't like the chunky tomatoes, I recommend a good salsa. Kill the heat, and then you're going to dump in 1 can of drained and washed black beans. And remember, honey, all the ingredients in my recipes are optional, so if you don't want those black beans in there, just leave them out. Now, I'm going to poke around on that jalapeno for a minute and just let all of them juices roll on out, and then we're just going to add a little bit more seasoning because my ancestor says this is going to need a little bit more loving, honey. So, salt and pepper to taste, and then, honey, that's ready to go. And then now, honey, it is time for the fun part. So, grab yourself a flour tortilla and, like the moves you did last night in the bedroom, fill your meat in and give it a good roll. And we're going to do that several times over until we can line up a couple of pans. And baby, keep in mind you can always double this recipe up if you're feeding a large crowd. Y'all see how good I am one-handed and holding the camera in the other? Whew. Now, we're going to line this pan on up, and then we've got a few more things that we need to do before we slide this in the oven. Look at that gorgeousness. I got 2 of them ready to roll. Oh, yeah. See, it makes quite a bit. I told you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this in the oven just for a second because I want the flour tortilla to get a nice little crunch to it. But, honey, if you don't like it crunchy, just skip that step. We're going to put together a little side dish here. So I've got 1 green onion that I'm going to toss into that same skillet that I cooked that beef in. And then we're going to add in 1 can of little green chilies. Ooh, those smell lovely. Just wakens up all the senses. And then I've got 1 large pack of the Spanish rice here. Now, honey, let me tell you, homemade is fabulous. But in a pinch, and when it comes to cheap and easy, I'm going to go for this pack tonight. Ooh, and we're going to reserve some of those green chilies. Just set a little spoonful to the side. And then we're going to add in about a 1/2 cup of picante sauce. Give that a good old stir. Just kind of let everything marry on up for a minute. All right, time to add a dash of garlic powder, and then we're going to add in that packet of rice. Now, I'm not following the instructions that it had other than just breaking the rice up and letting it absorb all that flavor. If we were to do it in the microwave and then add it in, honey, it would be a mess. It would actually turn to mush. Now, with that spoonful of green chilies that we've got, we're going to add that into a bowl, and then I'm going to dump in 2 cans of queso. That's just what I had in the cabinet, honey. Now, I'm going to give that a good old stir there, and then we're going to go ahead and just richen it up a little bit with a pinch or 2 of some sour cream. Now, I have warmed up this cheese just for a second in the microwave, and then we're going to add in that whole entire carton of sour cream. Yes, I'm sorry, y'all. We are cooking for the soul, not the heart today, baby. And what's going to happen is that sour cream is just going to marry up in that queso, and it's just going to be the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen in your whole life. Now, I'm checking on that rice just to make sure it's doing all right. We don't want it to get too carried away there. And then after about a good 10 to 12 minutes, honey, we've got a good crisp exterior. Again, this is totally optional here, but I like a good crunch on mine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this naughty sauce and just run it all over those enchiladas. Ooh, honey, pass the chips. Now, if you like a lot of sauce, double up that recipe, but this just holds out pretty good to the amount. And look at how dainty I am while pouring that all over those enchiladas. Oh, honey, this dish will make your toes curl. Now, I'm going to line mine with some jalapenos, and then we're going to pop it with some foil, slide them both back into the oven at 350 for about 15 more minutes. And honey, our rice came out perfect. We're going to top it with some salsa, add that cooked jalapeno, maybe a little bit of green onion for greenery. And honey, just like that, dinner is done. Well, all we got to do is set up the table and just wait for my aunt and uncle to pop on in. And honey, after a long drive, this is going to be a very nice, warm welcome to them. But don't worry, baby, we'll get you a little sneak bite here. Well, baby, open up, because the next time I see y'all, we'll be back at the RV kitchen. Or anywhere, because I'm everywhere, baby. I'm crazy. Open up, honey. It's hot.